Oh, hey there, and welcome. Ooh, give me that upper. To the Ope-Eh Three-Way Pro Wrestling Podcast on this episode 96. Great year for video games. Pierce, how the hell are you doing today, bud? By the way, in case some of y'all didn't know,
I'm good.
Brandon, Pierce.
I'm good.
You're
I'm a little tired. I want to take a moment. Last weekend, I flew up to the great country of Canada to celebrate the 1/3 that's not here today and his better half, Don and Marta. Thank you guys for having me at your wedding. It was an absolute blessing. And I love and appreciate you guys, and congratulations to you. So.
Yes. Many happy years to Donnie and many happy years to Marta. And even many more with them both together. So I'm very happy. I was doing a bit of a Saturday mix there with the boys. Yeah.
Was it the boys at the Main Event Network, perchance?
It was the boys at the Main Event Network. Yes, we were shooting a little shit, and then we were talking a little bit about one Saturday night's main event that may have happened this last Saturday. Don't know if that's something we may be talking about today. I see a lot of decoration around our borders here. What we make of this? What do we make of this, Pierce?
Yes, it is. There's not much going on this week for wrestling, so we're going to talk about wrestling video games. Maybe a top 5 best, top 5 worst. We're kind of going to keep it chill, but we're not alone today. We're joined by friend of the podcast. It's his 3rd time here. You know him, you love him, Graham from Wrestle Rant. Graham, how you doing, brother?
I am doing well, guys. Thank you very much for having me back. I know we talked about this the last time I was on back in March before WrestleMania, which feels like an eternity at this point with
good Lord.
The way the product is placed and pasted and whatnot. But yeah, I know we talked about this 4 months ago. We're finishing the story here today. Show podcast before SummerSlam coming up next weekend, and talking all things wrestling video games here today. I'm pumped.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And it's been a great 4 months for us. We're now on a network, and Donnie will hopefully be back soon, and everything's going good. For those who don't know you, and in between those 4 months, Graham, how have you been, and where are you from?
Yeah, I am well. So I will be at SummerSlam next weekend, so I'm excited for that. But that is quite a ways from me, as I'm from Connecticut. So last year we had it good because it was in New Jersey. Hate New Jersey. State stinks. Sorry for anyone that lives there. But it was nice and close to me, so I could drive it. You guys had that luxury this year, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned it earlier. You can find me on all things Wrestle Rant, Bleacher Report. I've been doing well in the last 4 months. It kind of feels like it's taken a year, but it also feels like it's been 4 minutes, honestly, like how time moves and whatnot. It's gone by very quickly. So I've been looking forward to this. I know we've been talking about it for a while, and as you had noticed, as we talked about over Instagram a few weeks ago, I kind of got back into it a little bit with the SVR07 GM mode to kind of prepare for this podcast here today. So I am well, and I appreciate you guys having me back on. Congrats on being on a network, and congrats on almost making episode 100 too.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're real close.
Yeah, we're almost there. It's crazy.
I think we're going to end the summer on episode 100.
It's been crazy, man. Like, it's just like you said, it feels like it's been 4 minutes.
Goes by quick.
But before we get into video games, we should talk. Yeah, it did. We should talk about the past. So, as always, seems like StreamYard doesn't like me today. So. StreamYard is delayed for me today, but that's okay. On this day, Brandon, I put one in here just for you because I know you love this guy. Ultimo Dragon would defeat Lord Steven Regal for the WCW television title in 1997.
Also a great
That's just for you, Brandon, because I know that's your guy.
Yeah, Ultimo's the shit, dude. Yeah, very, to this day, very
1 year
understated.
Old, so
yeah, speaking of video games, I remember back in the day when I was getting...
2001.
Oh, is that StreamYard doing that? I was going to say, Pierce, I wanted to talk about Nintendo Power and how I saw...
Me, so might be some hiccups,
I saw Ultimo Dragon in the issue of Nintendo Power where they're promoting WCW versus NWO World Tour, and that was the first like crazy character, like flashy, gimmicky character that I saw in wrestling, where I'm like, yeah, this is for me, because like I was big into Spider-Man and shit too, and then I'm like, oh, there's Rey Mysterio as Spider-Man, and it's like it all just clicked, it gelled, it was wonderful.
And then you're
That's
like,
all I
there's
wanted
Rey
to say.
Mysterio as Wolverine, and Rey Mysterio as the Green Lantern, and Rey Mysterio as Captain America, and there could be an episode of just talking about Rey Mysterio. So like, I do want to apologize. I don't know what's going on with my StreamYard, guys. It's definitely delayed a little bit. So 2001, the Invasion pay-per-view takes place. It's the highest non-ever Mania buy rate of any WWE WWF pay-per-view ever. In the main event, the Alliance team would win. That was Booker T, the Dudley Boys, Rhino, and DDP. They defeated Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, the Brothers of Destruction, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold would turn on them to end the match and join the Alliance because he was crazy Stone Cold. He was playing, a ukulele and a guitar, and he was wearing hats and singing Kumbaya, and he joined the Alliance. So...
yeah, we could spend a whole ep on the Alliance.
Great American Bash. I don't want to spend a whole episode on the Alliance because it's not good. There's nothing good in that story.
What could have been? What could have been? I know it's 25 years ago.
What could have been? If we're gonna fantasy book, that'd be a fun fantasy book. What was not 25 years ago was 2007 Great American Bash. I'll talk about 3 matches. There was a Cruiserweight Invitational. Hornswoggle would sneak in the ring before the bell rang. The bell would ring, and then he would win the Cruiserweight Championship and become the final WWE Cruiserweight Champion.
Well, he qualified, so...
On Wisconsin.
About it. Hey,
shout
way
out
to go, Dylan.
Dylan's cool, dude.
Way to go, Dylan.
The Great Khali would retain his World Heavyweight Championship by defeating Batista and Kane. Great.
Bad match.
Yeah, it wasn't a good match.
Great Khali was great because that was his name, but
was he really great?
And then John Cena would defeat Bobby Lashley to retain the WWE Championship in a great match. Like, two guys that weren't really... John Cena in 2007 was obviously known as like the greatest. That was his greatest year besides 2015, but like Bobby Lashley wasn't really known for that, and then those two just put on a barn burner and like a worthy main event. So shout out to those guys.
Yeah, shame Bobby didn't get more world title opportunities before.
And then,
well, I mean,
happy
ECW
birthday! I got 4. La Mera Thunder Rosa, Blake Christian, Fandango, and Shawn Michaels. The Heartbreak Kid. Heartbreak Man.
It's a lot of birthdays.
His birthday. So happy birthday to all of them. All right. Hopefully StreamYard will start working for me, but I'm excited to talk some wrestling video games. Because number 1 with a bullet, and I think Graham will agree with me, SmackDown versus Raw 2007.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. I mean, you said it yourself. Yeah. Brandon, you want to start?
Well, I was going to say, it might behoove you gentlemen to learn.
Myself out for a little bit and let you guys talk. I would back in a moment.
All right. Well, I was going to say it might behoove Pierce to learn that I've actually not played SmackDown versus Raw 2007. I actually started with SVR 08. They had the same GM mode, but I think I just missed the boat on it because a lot of people, like in online forums and stuff, were saying, and even to this day, like Pierce is saying, like SVR 07 was like, the crowning achievement of like the SVR series, and everything after that kind of subsequently went like downhill. I didn't think 08 was bad by any stretch of the imagination, right? Like I love the inclusion of ECW. I love my GM mode. Besides, like I'm a fantasy booker, like a mofo, always have been, and it's really scratched an itch that like games like because I grew up with like Nintendo, right? So like like I was saying, like WCW versus NWO Revenge, like obviously No Mercy, right? And like WrestleMania 2000, Day of Reckoning, like none of those games, like they had their own fantastic features for like, you know, booking and for, you know, customization and all that, but it never quite hit the same kind of itch that like for me, SVR 08 did. So like, I don't know, you seem to be a pretty big champion for 07, Graham. So like, what do you think is the distinction between like 07 and 08? Because a lot of people make that point that 07 still like to this day holds candles in ways that 08 really doesn't.
Yeah.
So
I mean, what I would say, it's funny that you say that because that definitely is the minority opinion. Not that you're saying 08 is drastically better than 07. I mean, honestly, you could make a case for either game. The thing with 08, and I will, first of all, it is a very good game, especially a better game than most. I mean, no shade at 2K, but especially a lot of the games from like maybe 10 years ago, some of the more ones, which I do enjoy. I would take those early SVR games over the recent games any day of the week. But with 08 specifically, that was also my first game. That was my first like introduction to the WWE. Actually, that's not true. I was playing some other wrestling video games prior to that point. Pierce, are you back online now?
I think we're good. Seems like everything.
You think so?
Synced up. So
maybe. I mean, it was delayed there for a second, so I don't know.
How are we feeling, Pierce?
It seems good, so we're gonna see what happens.
Yay!
I can hear you guys.
Yeah.
Here, let's try this.
And there he goes. Anyway. No.
So like with 08, I guess the thing with 08, that was also my first, like after becoming a fan, I played some of the other games before I was even a fan. After becoming a fan, 08 was my game.
Yeah.
I didn't like 08 initially because I got it on the Wii, which had fucking, or was it the Wii?
Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
I know, it was terrible.
Yeah, right. Probably about the end of the Wii's life cycle too, judging how from Nintendo ports their shit. But, you know.
That was a big difference maker. Going back and playing it on PS2 definitely made a difference as far as how good that game is. The biggest difference, I would say, the GM mode in 07, I would say is better because in 08, you have to book for every day. Like it takes you.
Oh, God.
Week, which is in depth and that's cool, but it's more work, I feel like, than what's necessary. Then you throw in like the ECW component too. Sure. You have 3 brands. So it's almost like too complicated. It is cool and it's better than some of the other games that came after it. 07 to me was like the perfect roster as well, because you had the GM mode that I kind of felt like was a little bit better than 06. 08 kind of took a step backward a little bit, but you also have on that roster Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam still. I mean, some people that 08 did not. 08 had Jeff Hardy and CM Punk, which kind of made up for the fact that Angle's not in 07 or Angle's not in 08. But I feel like the roster and the nostalgia is kind of the biggest difference between the two. But I'm curious what your like fascination with 08 is as far as why that's your game. Is it one of the key features or one of the game features? What is it?
Well, I mean, I'm going to say it's not necessarily my game. It was kind of an introduction. Like I said, I grew up with Nintendo, right? So I had a lot of those like arcade style. And then from there, like I kind of was, it's kind of funny. It was the same thing with Pokemon too. I'm like, man, I'm getting a little too old for this shit. The Wii, no, I'm going to graduate to the Xbox. Like I got to get an Xbox 360, man. I got to diversify. And at that time too, like my buddy like was getting me into like, you know, broader games like Oblivion and stuff like that, which Nintendo didn't have, like Fable, you know, like Gears of War and shit like that. But then also they had, you know, like the WWE games, which they didn't have. They had some games like they had Raw on the original Xbox, right? They had the SmackDown series on PlayStation. Nintendo had Day of Reckoning by the time it got to GameCube. And people are still talking about how great No Mercy was relative to that. Like, oh, it ain't going to get no better than this, brothers. Yeah. And so I'm just like, and then I heard about the SmackDown vs. Raw series. And like, right, with 07, like I heard about the original. I heard about 07. They're going to make it into like an annual thing where, you know, they have all these really cool modes. And there's all this stuff that like the Nintendo platforms just were not putting out as far as like graphical capability, as far as like just, you know, gameplay feature and stuff like that. So that's kind of when I jumped in. So when I got my 360 is when 08 was kind of the newest annual installment, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just for me, like, and I agree with what you're saying too. Like, there's a lot of variety within the SmackDown vs. Raw series that I just wasn't entirely used to. And I thought I was catching some of like the hype that followed, you know, like the initial, like, you know, here comes the pain, shut your mouth. And then like Raw on the other side of things in the Xbox, I thought I was kind of getting in on that whole trend of like how WWE games were going, like a little bit more away from like the arcade and more towards like realistic, you know, and like you're saying, like GM mode, you know, for all of its great features and stuff, like you kind of did have to spend some time on it. Like, you didn't have to spend time necessarily, but then if you're like randomizing all your shit or trying to get to like a major show, like you lose the element of control, and then it's just like, oh, now we got to kind of counterbalance all this. Like, this guy's got so much momentum, and like Kenny Dykstra's the ECW champion or some shit, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. So, but yeah, no, I was a really big fan of the implementation of ECW. I was a big like ECW guy at the time. I was really hoping that ECW as a third brand was going to take off, and it was going to be kind of like, you know, and I didn't really know better at the time, but I was hoping that it was going to be like a genuine, like kind of an alternative or an outlier from like Raw and SmackDown. And then it happened, right? And then, you know, we get silver title belts, and, you know, Mark Henry is the champ, and Ezekiel Jackson is the champ, and Christian is the champ, which, you know, all three guys had their own merit, right? But like, it wasn't ECW at that point. And so, yeah, all that to say, yeah, SVR 08 was just kind of where like I jumped in, and I really enjoyed it. 09 and 10, people were saying 10 was great. Like, I rented it for a bit. It was okay. Like, it was okay. Like, yeah, like it's just, I feel as though like, and maybe this isn't, you know, I feel as though in many cases, like wrestling games, like annual installments, they kind of follow, for me, at least back in the day, they kind of followed a similar trend to like other annual sports games, where it's like they know they don't really have to change all that much, because like play mechanics, and like nothing really changed the play mechanics of football, right? Like you got a guy behind the line, you move him out from scrimmage, and then you pass to receiver. Like, you don't need to complicate that too much. Kind of the same thing with wrestling games too. It's like, where are you, Pierce?
Do you see? Am I here?
We can hear you.
John Cena?
Oh, I think it's still loading.
Oh, okay, we can see it now.
I was just lambasting.
My technical difficulties. There was an update that needed to be installed that didn't install. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that'll happen. Wonderful.
So,
glad to have you back, sir.
I was catching a lot of that, though I was just backstage. 08 is worse than 07, and I do agree the GM mode because well, number one, the roster was cut so thin, and like that didn't help it. The GM mode was day to day, but you go back to 07, and it was just like it was a stacked roster. You could put anybody you wanted into the GM mode. The season mode was a lot of fun, even though it was a lot of the same stuff, no matter what the brand you were on, be it, oh, you were going to fight for the main title or you weren't. But like 07 is just about as close to perfect of a like SmackDown versus Raw as you can get. 06 and the original are great too, but 07 is just perfect. Damn near.
It you know, definitely. It is funny how, going back to what you said, Brandon, how drastically different, like we're talking about 07 and 08 as two totally different games. I really like 08. I love 07. They're both nostalgia-filled games for me, and as they are for all of us. But like, you don't really, like you're talking about, like the football games now, they don't really drastically change a lot of the mechanics. They did it, those installments. Like, and I'm not saying they changed it for the worse or for the better. They're just two totally different games with two different identities. Whereas you flash forward to recent years, and again, no shade to 2K. I think they produce great content. A lot of the games are the same. I could not tell you, so we'll probably go through it, but I couldn't tell you the difference between 2K15 and 2K16 or 2K23 and 2K24. To me, they're the same games. Maybe because they're so good, there's no real quality difference there. 07 and 08, the game modes that you mentioned, Pierce, are different. The rosters are really different. And Brandon, like you were saying, ECW and 08. I think that's the only.
And 08 had that like weird, like everybody has like a certain perk thing where like if you were like an extremist, they were the ones that could get specific weapons. While if you were like a grappler, you could really only get like chairs and tables. But like if you picked like somebody
you
like
could bust yourself open or whatever, and then you're invincible
to
for
give
30
yourself a power
seconds.
boost. Like it added cool things, but it wasn't anything amazing to where. But like the roster was only like 60 people, and then apparently the big push for 08 is that the ECW side of it, like they were gonna have its own like expansive story mode. That the main person for it was redacted, so then they had to gut everything they had for it because of what happened. So it's like, what are you supposed to do 3 months before launch? Like you have to change everything on the fly. So
sure.
That makes sense. I guess that was my other question too. Like we talk about ECW in that game. I know we're really focusing on 08 right now, but it is fascinating. I'd never heard that before. That they got that, part of the game. So Benoit got drafted to ECW like a week or two before that whole thing happened, obviously. How far in advance do you think that they would have known that they can make him the face of that mode if they were going to do that in the game? Like the ECW thing, you know what I'm saying?
So you and I have the same favorite wrestler of all time in CM Punk, correct?
Yes.
So do you remember the second part of the Cabana podcast where Heyman was writing for the video game and he sent him an email like 6-7 months ahead of time? It's like, hey, they want to put you on the cover. And it was like, no, you don't. You want Shane.
Okay. Yeah.
So if they knew that they wanted that, they probably knew ahead of time. Like I think the plan originally was for Punk and Redacted Benoit to be fighting all summer for the title. So like they probably had some sort of idea way ahead of time. But Brandon, while I was backstage, you talked about the GameCube. And the GameCube does have, like, don't get me wrong, I think the best one of all time is 07. But my personal favorite wrestling game of all time is Day of Reckoning 2 for the GameCube. And the original Day of Reckoning is really good. But the cool thing about Day of Reckoning 2 is that the story mode for your create a character, it doesn't really like, because in Day of Reckoning, you start off as a WWE rookie, you go through the developmental, and then you can pick SmackDown or Raw. If you go SmackDown, you go into the whole story is about you defeating The Undertaker and like his ministry of the game is the story mode. But if you go to Raw, you join Evolution, and then it's beating Triple H. The whole point is you get to Mania, and then you win the world title. Now, hindsight being 2020, I'm not going to pick SmackDown because I would purposely lose that match. I don't care if it's me winning the world title. My character is not beating The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I'm just not doing that. But beating Triple H at WrestleMania, that sounds cool. So then you go into Day of Reckoning 2, and your character, you create your character again. But it's like last year I was in Evolution, and then I broke out and I beat Triple H at WrestleMania for the world title, and then he beat me again. And then the whole storyline leading up to that is the world title gets stolen, and then it gets blamed on you. You move to SmackDown, and then you team up with RVD, and then you can keep teaming with him, or you can go for the US title, and then you win the Rumble, and then you want to face. Like the whole thing is hooked by your characters dating Stacy Keibler, which is just funny. Hindsight.
Yeah, it was fine by me. Yeah. 12-year-old me was totally like, woo.
Getting Stacy down because you want to be with your girlfriend, but everything in that game mode, like as a simulation game, it's really, really good. All the unlockable characters are really cool. You can unlock certain weapons and arenas. Like, I also think it's the only WWE game with Muhammad Hassan. Like,
it has to be,
yeah. Yeah, that and
oh no, he was in 06 actually. I remember playing as him in 06.
Was he in 06?
I think he was, because that game would have come out in late 05 and he got fired in like July or August or something. So I mean, it wasn't a Benoit situation where they were like, yo, we got to take him on now. So I mean, I'm almost positive he's in 06. I could be wrong on that though.
Or even the OG.
When
no, he wouldn't have been an OG. It would have been too late for OG.
When did Day of Reckoning come out that Hassan would have been in that game?
I can check.
Wasn't Hassan only around for like 6 months or something?
I know he had a feature at
got called
WrestleMania
up
21.
in December 04 and was let go in July 05. So it was about 7 months.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me look this up.
August 29th. So it would have been a month before he was released, or a month after he released. So it might be the only one.
For Day of Reckoning or 06?
So let's take a look. SVR 06 came out.
Did they have 2 games in the same year?
No. SmackDown. Well, they had the like main consoles, and then they had one for the GameCube too. GameCube was like Ukes and THQs. Like it was only THQ doing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
SmackDown versus Raw would have came out in November, so it's very possible he's in it, but I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. I just remember him. I just remember his theme song being in that game. I know Daivari kept the theme after him, but I don't know. He could be in both games. It's kind of that's an Easter egg. That's interesting.
But Day of Reckoning is like a pure simulation. Like I played the hell out of that game for so long.
I like the simulation stuff. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we can get into it. I'm not really like when it comes to the actual gameplay and stuff. Some of those games, that's why I like GMO, because I could just simulate it. Like it is a lot of work. Brandon and I were talking about that before. If you really want to go in depth with it, but I guess you're doing just as much work if you're playing the fucking matches and stuff. I suck at that stuff, so that's why I'm better with the simulation.
So as like a wrestling fan, like obviously Brandon, I think you'd probably put like No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000 and the NWO versus WCW Revenge. You'd probably put those up there where it's like pure simulation, where everything's got to like. That's why I liked AEW Fight Forever, because it was a more like simulated and less like technical feel when you're playing.
Oh, you're the one.
Everything has to be super, 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 super technical. Where it's like you have to do this to do this to do this to do.
There's so much to the new games, man. Like I
like the new games.
Yeah,
match feel is a lot more fun in a simulation based game where it's like I can do whatever I want whenever I want. Oh, let's have Big Show do a 450 splash just because. Like, let's have fun with it.
Well, it's like playing. I'm trying to think of a good comparison, but it's like almost like playing like MVC or something compared to playing like Tekken. Maybe I'm off with that, but like I feel like Tekken is the one where like there's a lot more complexity in the combos and shit, and you got to really string things along. But like, or maybe it's the other way around, where Street Fighter is the one that's very like analog heavy, where you got to memorize both Are.
I think Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods, when they had that Street Fighter match, like they both had like tabletop things, and they were playing like this, like it was a regular arcade. It's like I like regular like fighting games like that. I can never get into because it's like I've played more.
You have to study. You have to study.
Like I'd rather just like I find one move that I like and I continuously do that move, and that's what gets me fucking killed every time.
Keep it simple. I don't know. I'm like the simple stuff. I mean, you mentioned No Mercy, you mentioned NWO and WCW Revenge. Dude, I was born in 1995. That game may have come out when I was fucking 4 years old, but I still go back and play that game when I can because it's just both of them because they're so simple. I'm a simple person. Just that's why I like Nintendo. Going back to what we were talking about before with Brandon, like press A, B, L, R. That's it. All I need is basic shit. I don't like this grappling stuff that makes it more realistic. But I like the simple stuff, and that's why I like those early games, especially with how deep the roster is at that point. I don't care really as much about the graphics. I think that's a big element of it, but the graphics back then sucked. I mean, for the time they were great, obviously, but for now they're terrible.
The biggest thing about those N64 games too, and I know the creation suites now are crazy. Don't get me wrong, but like back then, because they were making games for both companies I know it's No Mercy. You could basically make the entire WCW roster if you wanted.
You make whoever you want, yeah.
Like everybody is right there because they have the presets. And you can add all their moves and go from that. Like Creation Suite should, I think, be brought into the conversation because, like, don't get me wrong, making my own character, I usually try and do what I can. I got all my tattoos, but I can't get exact replicas, and I'm not that creative. But it's like, if I can somehow make somebody that's like very close to a real, like those guys on Twitter that post like I made Swerve Strickland today. I made this person. Here's the tag. And then it's like an exact copy. I'm like, how the fuck do you have the time to do that?
I know, that's insane to me. Yeah. I have no attention to detail at all.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's like, it almost kind of, I don't know. It's one of those things I've always kind of wanted in games. Cause like, do you remember back in the day when you really wanted to make a guy accurate, you would go on like a website and then they would have like a printout of all the fucking shit you had to follow, the fucking rule book. Like,
Dude,
and now you can just go on
for that. I'm going to go to a different game. Elden Ring is one of my favorite games of all time. And like, I followed a guide to make my character look like the Giga Chad meme with the big chin and the big smile.
Beautiful.
So like, I followed those for sure, but like not in a WWE game. I followed it just in like a regular game. So like,
yeah, there was a whole, like back in the day, there's like a primordial community of guys who would just, make like whoever, like the Great Muda or, like some random subletter like Mr. T or some shit. Yeah. And they would have all like the printouts of directions. I remember being such a fucking nerd back in those days and just getting like as much of that as I could. And now it's just so crazy because with the tools that are available and with the people who are, like amateur programmers effectively, right? Like they're making like down to like the decimal, like these like damn near better than a lot of the pros, like who find that, like, say if I played, I'm trying to think like who one of the new guys is, like, well, say Mason Rook, your guy, Pierce, right? Like if I were to go, if I were to play like if I were to play 2K25, right? And I admittedly am I best fit for this episode because I haven't played a 2K since 2K17. Who's to say, right? But like, if I was to look back at 2K25, I feel like you would find a better Will Cruz in 2K25 than they probably would make for Mason Rook in 2K26. Like, so there's just such an incredibly talented creation community out there where it's like, yeah, it's nice because you can still be creative. Like, you're not going to be pro. You don't need anyone to download your own shit, but like, you effectively have the world literally at your fingertips.
The only person that like I know people consistently gets their status. I see his stuff all the time, but like for like people in the creator space, like that do podcasts and videos, the only person that I know that like gets consistent downloads, and maybe it's two now, would probably be Chris Danger and BDE. So like those guys usually make themselves, and then you could download them, and then they have their videos of them doing the career mode, and then they also upload them to the character creation online suite that you can download people. So like, so I bought 2K24 because I thought it was going to be like, oh, they're going to do like 2K14 where they had the 30 years of WrestleMania. And then there was only like 9 matches, and I was a little disappointed. The matches they picked were fun, but like the 30 years of WrestleMania had matches from every single WrestleMania. I was like, this fucking rules. And then they also had in 2K14, I should say 2K14, also had the only WWE game that had like a Dark Souls boss in the Beat the Streak mode. The Undertaker in that match, it was he had fucking plot armor. I swear to God. Like,
well, at the time, yeah.
if you beat him with any of the people from the 21-0 streak at the time, you would like get like a special like picture. I only beat him with Randy Orton. Like, it was impossible. I'd hit him with an RKO, 1-2 kick out. I'd hit him with another RKO. The lights would go out, and he'd just teleport behind you and have the finisher. I'd hit him with another one. I go down to pin him, and then I'm in the Hell's Gate. And then the submission for that was a breaking point submission, and it was impossible to get out of unless you had like a resilience or whatever. I think it took me like 6 RKOs to beat him, and like even then I had to be careful where I was positioned, because if I was near his legs, I'd immediately go into the Hell's Gates. If I hit him with an RKO, there was a chance the dong would hit, lights go out, and then he's just behind me, and Randy was going like this.
Hit you with the dong.
And then he would tombstone me, and I'd lose. Like, it was impossible. I beat him 1 time.
I mean, yeah, but it was cool though. Like I like that they offered like a challenge in that regard, right? I'm trying to think
Something
of the equivalent.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think because I feel like No Mercy had its own kind of
I think it
Dark Souls from Soft. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like who was the like what path you went down where it had this one match that was just always hard as shit to win.
Day of Reckoning has one too. Day of Reckoning 2, after you win the WWE Championship, there's 2 matches on the way, and then the final match is you versus Triple H in the main event of WrestleMania. To tie the story all together, like I was saying, there's 2 matches on the way because Teddy Long doesn't want you putting up the WWE title against a Raw superstar. There's a Hell in a Cell against The Undertaker, which is impossible, which is hard. Or actually, there's 3, and I'll go from least difficult to most difficult, but they're all hard. Hell in a Cell, there's a submission match against Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is impossible to tap out because he has the highest submission strength, and then he's also Kurt Angle. And it's right before peak Angle, so he's like a 98 overall. And then because the Raw World title gets stolen, you get it put into a match at SummerSlam for the IC title because that's the highest title on Raw, right? It is a 4-way cage match, and you can't win by pin. It's escape only. And then escaping the cage is impossible because there's 4 people, and you have to hit them with all these finishers to keep all of them down for just enough time for you to escape the cage. It's you versus Shawn Michaels, Christian, and Kane. And it is one of the, like, it took me forever as a kid. And you're just sitting there pressing Y, just hoping for the best. And, like, I figure out a way you could put them in the corners if they're damaged enough and they won't get out for a while. But even if you hit them all with finishers, because the way the finishers worked, you'd build it up and then you'd get a special and then you'd press A and B together at the same time. And then you could start hitting your finishers. But if you have a long convoluted finisher, it would take forever and you'd only get to hit it on one person. And then you still got 2 idiots to deal with and you can't climb the cage. And there was only a 30-minute time limit. And I definitely timed out multiple times during that match specifically. So, like, having a super hard, like, boss fight in a video game like that is just fun.
Yeah, no, it makes it more, it just adds to the challenge. I agree.
Or it just makes you want to break the disc in your controller and cry like I almost did that one time. I remember I had to change my finisher for that match because I liked the finisher I had because I thought it looked cool, as you know, is the case with any wrestling game. But like, it turns out that you had to try and hit something fast and quick, like a lariat or a super kick or some odd shit like that, in order to, like you're saying, get anything going past, you know, because there's always at least one dude who happens to crawl his way up, and I'm just like beating the fuck out of this button, just like trying every finger, like, oh, this finger's getting tired. I'm gonna switch to this and that and that. And it's just
press
like
the Y button like this and hoping for the best.
Yeah, and I'm trying 2 fingers, and I'm like, he's getting up, fucker. And then he got up, and then I just like screamed, and then I walked away. So because I was 12 at the time, so but you know, or maybe I was 14. Who's to say? Any hoodle. Yeah, I mean, but nowadays, like now that I'm, you know, older and more mature, right? Like I do appreciate in hindsight a bit of a challenge. What I don't appreciate in the newer games, though, and this is kind of where I fell out of favor with some of the new stuff, not just like the complexity and the controls and stuff like that, because 2K17, I couldn't tell you how different, you know, your 2K20 games are from that era. But like
2K20 is different because it was terrible and is literally the worst wrestling video game of all time.
Well, I guess from 2K20 on is what I meant to say. So like your mechanics from the 20s on, because like I said, my last game was 17. So, you know, Samoa Joe was in it. I think Jinder Mahal was in it too.
Can't hinder him.
Yeah, no, he was never hindered in 2K17 to my recollection. Yeah, it was just I see a lot of the stuff, and I don't know, like you fellas play the 2K20 games, right? So like, what are some of the things that if you're to try to sell me as someone who's kind of like an old head in, you know, the pro wrestling video game space and who's not played since 2K17, like what are the big things that are in the games now? Because I feel like it's kind of a common symptom. It's kind of endemic with a lot of the video game scene now, where it's just mired in microtransactions. There's like a toxic online space. Like you're saying, like
wrong.
Like there's a complication in the series where it's better in theory than in practice, right? Because I remember like, oh, I wish I could do all this with my moves.
Number one,
Now
the showcase modes are usually always quality. Like, I enjoyed the WrestleMania one. 2K25 was free for me, so I played that mainly for the Bloodline Showcase, and that was a lot of fun.
I was going to say that was the Bloodline
Showcase. I'm cool with the My Rise. The story modes are usually fine. I mean, getting CM Punk 03 this year and getting Mizera Cantere is just sick. Like, that being in a WWE game is wild.
That's cool. Yeah.
But like, the rosters are insane usually from the jump. There's like 200, 300 people on the roster ready to go. But then they continue to add. But the thing that I dislike is it's all locked behind My Faction, which is like their version of like a Madden Ultimate Team or something like that. To where you have to do certain things to possibly like, they have one of my favorite entrance themes locked behind My Faction. I haven't played in a while, to be fair. I want to get on there mainly so I can put the spinner title on Jeff Hardy with no more words. That's just for me. But like Eddie Guerrero 05, heel Eddie is in the game, but he's locked behind My Faction. So you'd have to do a bunch of dumb shit to unlock him. And then if you don't pay the money, it's either you pay a bunch of money and then you got a better chance of unlocking him, or you don't pay any money and then you're just kind of stuck. And like, you get a lucky chance to unlock him, and it's like the luck is never there. So the island is fine. Like, it's weird. I don't know how to really explain it. It's just their version of the NBA 2K, like My Court or whatever.
Okay.
I don't like. They're fun. Like, I like doing the matches, and it's like, oh, I want to do Kurt Angle versus Gunther because I think that'd be fun, and then I play with the one that I want to win, and then sometimes I still lose because I like to play on the hardest difficulty. Or like, oh, why don't I do this person? Like, the matches you can do and get the dream matches you want, because the roster is super expansive. I think right now it's at like 250 to 300, if not more. But like, unlocking the entirety of the roster is just a slog, and it's not worth it.
Yeah, I guess it really just comes down to price, right? Like, how much are you willing to play? Like, what are you going to do with it? You know, like for the dream matches that Pierce is talking about, like if you're only going to do a couple of them, the games are, I mean, the games of the prices of almost any game nowadays are just fucking stupid. I mean, they're just
70 and up. Oh, right, at base, dude.
Yeah, base.
And you want to buy, you want to buy a Switch too, Brandon, just for one game. So you're gonna be paying
of course I do.
$500.
Yeah, and I gotta get I got an Xbox One besides, so like this would require me probably getting like a Series X unless they're gonna introduce a new gen at some point, right? You know, I'm sure they're gonna talk about that sooner than later. But yeah, you're right. Like, that's the thing that always like slogs me down about video games in general now, because I remember like following games when they started, you know, to hit $70 a pop, and then I see they bring college football back as a series, and they want to sell that at like $100 for like some Prime edition or some shit like that. And I'm like,
but EA actually did
how often?
Did you see? So this year's college football, in the career mode, they added microtransactions, and so many people were mad at it, they took them out of the game in an update.
Well,
it's the first time I've ever seen EA do something nice.
There's some humanity in that group, yeah. Oh, dude, that's the thing. It's like there's so much about video games, and I said it's endemic, where with WWE, like if it's what you're saying is true, and I have to grind and slog and do all this extra shit, and at the end probably just pay a fine anyways to get something that should be easy enough to unlock within the game.
I
like
literally want 05 Eddie so I could put his theme on Dom. Like, that is the reason.
Are we talking
all that for that
Lane song, Pierce? So what song? What 05 Eddie song?
Yeah, is that Gangsta Lean?
It's Can You Feel the Heat?
Okay.
With the
the one where it still says lie, cheat, steal in it and all that too. Oh, okay. So like right when he turned heel. Right when he betrayed Ray.
Not that I don't love Gangster Lean, because I do.
Gangster Lean is fucking great. Yeah, Gangster Lean's fucking sick. That was such a great theme. I'm so sad he didn't get to use that longer. You know, but
like,
yeah,
it's just one of those things where it's like I want to put that on this person because I've been saying forever that I want Dom to have Heel Eddie's theme because it would just fit him so perfectly. Not that I don't like his current theme, but like I don't know. I think
that's when they actually put effort into the songs back then. So I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I do like going on the creation suite. I wish they don't bring them out, but somebody made like a perfect 05 Batista in 2K24 and made him like a separate like attire. I use that motherfucker constantly. Oh my god. And like it even had like, I know I kind of have the Batista hair right now, but it had that perfect flat brim, that he had. And it's
like,
yeah.
05, yeah.
It's like that guy, that was my guy.
Yeah,
perfectly
that was
tapered.
Batista. I mean, talk about creation suite and reasons to get the new games. Honestly, like you could probably do this in the old games, but what I like so much about the newer games is the detail that people put into creating these superstars that are available in the creation suite. Yeah, you could find your, whoever's not in the game, all your AEW rosters. You could find Redacted in there. He's always one of the most downloaded people on that thing. But to me, what makes it fun and worthwhile, honestly, is just finding the most outlandish characters available. I'm talking downloading, Ronald McDonald and Grimace. I'm talking about downloading Ghostface and all this other.
You can find shit. Elmo. You get like Elmo. Everybody.
Caillou,
Johnny Bravo.
Everybody, dude, and then putting them in one Royal Rumble match. That is what I get out of the creation. I use it for all the wrong reasons, but it is to me is worth it for the price of the new games alone.
Talking about that, I don't know if you guys know the YouTube channel Dead Meat.
The horror movie guy.
Yeah, Dead Meat, James and his wife Chelsea. Every year they do a horror Royal Rumble.
Yes, he's a big wrestling fan. Yeah,
they create 30 horror characters to be in a Royal Rumble, and it's always really, really fun. And then there's I can't think of who it is. He was one. I know he's cool with BDE. I know it's another creator. He does like the 30-person creator rumble, and I think like that's a cool way to do it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And like,
there's a lot of cool meta shit you can do with the creation for sure.
And we're talking a lot of WWE games. I want to bring up one. I'm gonna give some love to the Fire Pro Wrestling games. I've never played them. They look like they'd be a lot of fun because it's like, oh, you can be Okada, you can be Shinsuke and like in their primes, and like and you can also be like Masato Tanaka. Like that seems interesting. TNA Impact, the original TNA Impact game, that game is fun as hell.
It actually is. That game is so ridiculous, though. It is fun. Like you're fighting in like a middle of a parking lot in like Mexico or something. Just like in
the career mode, you don't even create a character. They made Suicide, and then they made Suicide a real character on TV.
Character. Suicide
put him into the meta.
Thing.
He's a former X Division champion. Suicide was like the guy, bro. Suicide was like cool. Like it's definitely problematic now, but it was cool back in 2008. I mean, that game is not one where it's like, oh man, you're going to get so much out of it. It really is just like, how did this game even get made? Like, and also too, here's another thing about the game. It's so much fun. That roster is wild. Yeah. Like you got Booker T, Kevin Nash, Kurt Angle, Christian Cage, maybe the Machine Guns, and then Samoa Joe, AJ Styles.
Yep.
Sting, Jeff Jarrett, like everybody.
Was Jeff Hardy in that too?
Anybody that you could think could be in a TNA in that game.
And then he was back in WWE at that point.
Oh yeah, because that would have been 08. Yeah, yep, you were right.
Yeah, but still a great roster.
I know they were making a sequel. I think they canceled it, but that game for what it was for a one-off TNA game, great.
It's so limited, but it's the thing. It speaks to the simplicity of it, and I think that's really, to me, an appealing aspect of these games. You only have the career mode. You just play regular matches. There's not 5 or 6 different modes. There's no My GM mode. It's just playing matches and doing career mode. But you can still go in there and have a lot of fun with it. I mean, it's a very limited game. They made almost no money off of it. And I honestly got to go buy a copy of it. I still have a working PlayStation 2. That's what I played the SVR07 game on the other week. So,
I got a 360 over here for SVR07.
There you go.
And the Guitar Heroes, but like
nice.
This then also brings me back because we were talking about GM mode. GM modes in the new games fucking suck. Like, I want to throw.
It's fine.
They're fine at best, but like, okay, I have to do everything. Oh, I can then eventually work my way up to having stadium SmackDowns. No, that's stupid.
No, that's dumb. I don't like that. I
Like,
also
what-
don't like it. It's limited because in the newer games, I don't know. You can't really. It like makes rivalries for you and stuff. Whereas in the old games, you would buy storylines from creative like writers and shit. Like oh, you want to do
champion versus champion, or
Yeah.
monster versus mini, or like student versus teacher. I remember the last GM mode I did student versus teacher with Bobby Lashley versus Kid Cash for the US title. And Kid Cash my story was that Kid Cash was like kind of feigning a babyface turn, and then he turned on Bobby Lashley and wins the US title at the next pay-per-view. Like, that was my story. And then
no, exactly, yeah. And you don't even have to do the story that it's asking you to do.
The stories here aren't great either, because like in the new ones you could have a 4-star story, but like in the newest one, the pay-per-views are all combined pay-per-views, so you can't even like pay it off at a pay-per-view. You got to pay it off on the SmackDown before the pay-per-view, and then just try and have the best show ever. But like in SVR 07 specifically, you can have a story go up to like, I think 18 weeks, and then by like week 8, the fans will turn on it if they don't like it, and you'll just have to cancel the story. Like, I think that's a huge thing that they need to add back.
No, I don't know why they wouldn't just, and it's been a few years since they brought it back. I think the options that they have with it are cool, but like the fact that you can't do like a fucking 6-man tag team match, you can only have 4 people in a match, is wild to me in the new games. That's just, how have they not changed that? Like, you can only do so many different match types. You can't do elimination chamber matches. You can't do a fucking Money in the Bank ladder match. There's only 4 people in the ring at one time. I just think that's completely ridiculous. And they want to do book a Hell in a Cell match this Monday on Raw. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm more about the story, slow build, whatever. I don't know. It shouldn't really be that difficult.
Oh, fuck it. We're doing Hell in a Cell tonight.
Or what? The one thing I really like is that there's like the cards you can play where it can screw over the other shows. But I still,
new games or the old games?
With the new games.
Oh, the new games.
Old games, you could screw over the other shows by having somebody
show up.
You could just have somebody show up, and it's like, this was a great. Or you could have a slander promo, or you could like. There's so many cool extra things you could do, but it's just like they just feel, and it's the same for WWE music right now. We had Mark Esses. He's the drummer of Downstate on a few weeks ago.
Oh,
cool
awesome.
Fucking dude. Cool fucking guy.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking, he's like, music is soulless in WWE right now. It's kind of the same in WWE games for the most part. Like, don't get me wrong, I like doing dream matches, but I can only do that for so long.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm just wired in a certain way where I wish, like, just give me the book with the GM mode stuff in these games. That's all I ask. I'm not a creative programmer or anything, but like, I want GM mode, what we were talking about from like 06, 07, 08, specifically 07, with the new roster. That's all I want. I just want the amount of the 300 people that you mentioned are in the new games. If you had that in fucking the old GM mode, I would play that for the rest of my life. Like, I'd still play 07 GM mode, and they only have like 50 superstars available. I don't even use the Divas division. I guess that makes me a sexist or something, but there's only 5 people available.
There's like 7 people, and one of the shows only has a women's division.
Yeah, and your roster can only have 20 people, and I turn the money off anyway. You can't turn the money off in the new games. You have to use it. That's also annoying. I know that makes it harder, but still, I don't know, man. Just bring back the old GM mode. I'm here campaigning for it today. That's all I want.
It's just, I just wish, like, at the end of the day, I want it to be fun more than anything. Yeah. And like, I have fun with the new games, but like the original SmackDown versus Raws, the Day of Reckonings, those are fun. And like the story mode, the like season mode for the SmackDown versus Raws, they'd have fun storylines. Like, you might remember this, Graham. You remember the fucking Christy Hemme magic wand? I think it was Christy Hemme.
No, I don't remember that song.
Candice Michelle had the magic wand, and you were in a feud with Edge, and she would use the magic wand, and then you would turn into another person and have to be that person in the match. Like, it was just crazy.
What is that? What is that, SVR 05 or something? I don't know what that.
I think it was either 06 or 07.
Maybe. Maybe I missed that. I don't remember that.
And then we're not even talking about SVR 9 and 10. where they took out some of the stuff, but then they added the Road to WrestleMania mode. And those, like, depending on the superstar you pick, those were always a lot of fun too.
You're not? Are you telling me, Pierce, that you're not a Tony fan?
A Tony? Tony who?
Tony, the you know who I'm talking about, Brandon from 09?
Oh yeah, yep. Soldier Boy Tony. Yeah, John Cena's biggest fan.
Come on, what a
Was
great!
He like a 92 overall too? Like, yeah, like
honestly, that shit was also so bad. Like the fact that it's a playable character, but like it's a meme now, so it was worth it. But like, yeah, the storylines in those games, I remember that. I was in like 8th grade at that point, eating that shit up. So I'm actually kind of nostalgic for those Road to WrestleMania storylines and those like late 2000s, early 2010 games.
Where it was like Boogeyman, like making zombies out of people to face the Undertaker at WrestleMania, and
yeah.
Then there was the Edge and Christian one where they could like come back together, and then they make a time machine, and then you can go back and change stuff that you did. Like it was just like
crazy,
just wacky, and like
yeah.
I don't think have you guys even talked about Here Comes the Pain? Have we even brought that one up yet?
No.
Yeah, I only brought it up as like something that I missed when I was stuck in Nintendo land, and then I had to grow up and get an Xbox so that I could play SVR08, which is where I jumped into that series. But like, I totally missed everything.
Here Comes the Pain has one of the most stacked rosters ever, and like the season mode in that is crazy because then you could walk around backstage and do all this stuff, and like if you were on SmackDown and you walk around back or like you try and walk around backstage, then you run into Brock Lesnar and then you're immediately in a fight with Brock Lesnar, or like you meet up with Goldberg. It was the first and only game at the time with Goldberg until I think 2K14 brought him back, and then 2K17, of course. But like,
wow,
you meet up with him, you do a backstage brawl, you win, and he's like, "All right, we'll be a tag team." And then the next week, you're in a tag team title match with Goldberg. It's like,
wow, that's random.
Bret Hart screaming somewhere in the distance.
Yeah, right.
Don't do it.
Yeah, Bill Goldberg.
He'll kick you in the fucking head.
You gotta say it. You Bill Goldberg.
But you know who is the shittiest tag team partner I ever had? Bill Goldberg.
I wish I would have played more. Like I played Here Comes the Pain a good amount, but I never played like the Shut Your Mouse or the SmackDown 1 or 2s. But like, Here Comes the Pain was the game before the original SmackDown vs. Raw came out, and that was just fun. And then like the one thing I miss in the WWE games too is that it was more in the simulation games. Why can't I start a match with 3 finishers and have the other guy have 3 finishers? Like, where's that? Just have some fun with it.
It's like sudden death mode in Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, like Final Destination, no items, basically.
Right. Fox only. But no. I was gonna say something. Scheisse. Pass on me. I'm good.
So
those games were great, though. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get much into those SmackDown games. It's just funny how there's different eras of games because they all had different names, right? Like you talk about the SmackDown games and SmackDown Here Comes the Pain and all that other stuff. That feels like a different era than SmackDown versus Raw, you know. And even after 08, I would put SmackDown versus Raw 09, 2010, and 2011 in a different league from 06, 07, and 08. They're just totally different games. And it's not even like
09.
Go ahead.
09 does have one of my favorite things ever in the creative finisher, where you could add a bunch of random stuff all together and speed it up and slow it down. And then it's just something really fucking stupid where it like ends with a kick to the dick. Like that was a fun creation suite too, but they never brought it back after I think 2010.
No. It's kind of weird. They took a lot of stuff out year after year. They're like, yeah, we're just going to make this genuinely worse. Like, no one asked for this. And I don't really know why they took that. Now they're bringing them back now. There's a lot of modes now. But, yeah, they would have, like, create a finisher and create, like, GM mode and stuff like that. Create an arena. And, like, they took a lot of that away for a long time. And it was very weird. Like even WWE 12 kind of felt like a rebrand before they got to the 2K stuff, like WWE 12, WWE 13. Those were good games too. I think WWE 12 had like the WCW influence. They had old WCW storyline, right?
That story mode, it starts with Sheamus, and then they make like the United
Nations
or whatever,
thing, basically, yeah.
And then it goes to Triple H, and then you become Jacob Cass, and I think it was just basically Austin Aries. I think he was the one.
Yeah, it was voiced by Austin Aries. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then WWE 13 has WWE 13 has the Attitude Era.
That Attitude Era game, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I love that mode, but then they brought back the Attitude Era in these games another fucking 3 or 4 times. Like, when I saw it advertised for this most recent game, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I just don't give a shit. Like, oh, Attitude Era. Like, they've already done this like 5 or 6 times. Why can't they do a mode based on like ruthless aggression or some shit?
Right.
John Cena was literally on the cover a couple of years ago. They had him as one of the modes where like, oh, you can't beat Cena, or you can beat whatever that mode was in 23 or 24. Just do like, I don't know, do something like that. I don't know. Why do we always have to go back to the same 3 or 4 things? They're just so devoid of ideas at this point. It feels like.
That's why I like the CM Punk mode, like this year, because it was like, okay, we're gonna go back to 08 Punk and him versus JBL. It's like, okay, that's an interesting match to do for that. And then like they don't even do Money in the Bank, which I thought was well, I understand why they didn't do Money in the Bank 2011. That there's two people in there that they probably should not. But like then they jump to like, instead of him doing the matches where he loses, he's like, what if we go back and we change it and I win? And it's like him versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2013, he wins. Or like him, if he didn't leave, him versus Triple H, and then him going to the main event of Mania and winning the world title. Or like, he's like, I want to do some like dream matches, me versus Kurt Angle, me versus Eddie, me versus Cactus Jack in the ECW arena. Like, they did a lot of cool things, but like, it was also like let's keep going that way, but add some more stuff back, and also bring back my original GM mode, please.
Yeah,
I mean, I do like, conceptually, I actually do like WWE like alternate universe mode, right? Where like you think of like how the way stories were written, and a lot of people bitch and complain. They're like, oh, it should have been like this. And then it gives the writers a chance to kind of flex and be like, okay, well, what if this did happen? And then you kind of create like a butterfly effect from that. I feel like that's something that they should continue to put into like future games, if not for, just like a couple of years, just because I feel like there are a lot of scenarios with a lot of different superstars and their trajectories. Punk obviously being one of them, right? There's a lot of what if surrounding Punk in general, but you can even go so far as to go like even with a guy like Austin, like if they want to do anything with him, like what if Austin never broke his neck with, Owen Hart, right? Like what?
I don't know if they'd ever do anything like that, but like,
well, I mean, but just as an example, right?
Let's go back to 96 and curtain call doesn't happen, and then Triple H wins the King of the Ring. Maybe go that route. Like,
sure. Well, I'm sure that would be a much more favorable route for some people in the decision.
Mainly because they can't bring in Owen Hart ever. So like, that's what I like about AEW Fight Forever. It might be kind of they add updates every now and then, but like Owen Hart's in the game, and I think it's one of like 3 games he's in. So like, it's interesting to see Owen in a video game, but like, I don't know. I think they can. There's a lot of good with the new games, but there's just, and maybe it's nostalgia glasses. It's like, I just bring back that feeling. That's all I want. Make it fun and take out the microtransactions, please.
Yeah, that'd be nice, but
yeah,
I think those are the way of the future. Well, not even the way of the future. It's the way of the now and forever. Because, it's like you said, man, like a sucker is born every minute. And as long as microtransactions prove to be profitable, as long as people will cave to it, you can't convince everybody not to do it, right? Because some people just want in on it. And so as long as people continue to pay into it, it's just going to be how it's going to be, right? And it's a new breed of gamer nowadays too. Like, it's not, long gone are the days where you could expect everything. You could buy like a complete game, right? Like, it's almost like old man yelling at the clouds at this point. I don't know. Maybe I'm nihilistic when it comes to that, and I'm not trying to be, because video games are fun.
Point, I agree, because then there are games that are complete games, but then they add a DLC. Like look at Elden Ring, Lies of P. These games where there's a complete story, and then they also add a little bit extra, where it's like, hey, you have a full cheeseburger here, why not get a side of fries? Something like that.
Right.
Versus like what WWE games are now, where it's like, all right, we're gonna give you a hamburger, but you also have to pay for the pickles, the cheese, the ketchup, the mustard, and it's like, oh, you want a side of fries that's not coming down for 6 months. Like, it's like, what are we doing? Like, I bought the season passes because now they have basically a battle pass for the WWE games. I haven't played them in a while, but like, I wanted the characters that were coming. Like, I want to play as Danhausen in a WWE game. Like, it just sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Here's my old man question. What the fuck is a battle pass, and how are there battle passes in like every genre of game now? What the fuck is a battle pass? I'm sorry.
Basically, there's a free and a premium version, and most of them go to 100. The WWE ones go to 40. You do enough stuff and earn enough points to go to the next level. And in the premium version, there's usually extra stuff. Say it's like cosmetics or like characters. That's all it is.
Did they have stuff like this back in the day, or did people just only ever play online and that was just enough for us? This is just such a foreign concept to me too.
It was usually just DLCs. Like if you're the OG Call of Duties, like if you want it, they release some extra maps. They do a map DLC. Like that's.
No, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, those older games had DLC. Even like some of the old SVR games had DLC. I didn't have that on the fucking Wii and stuff because that was just outdated at that point. But like, yeah, they had DLC. But I feel like the games that had less, people played more. And I could be completely wrong on that. I'm not in the gaming sphere, but I feel like the older games, people played a lot longer than the games that have everything. It feels like people play less. Like 2K26 came out 4 months ago. I saw people stop talking about it like a week later. It's just weird to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's innumerable choices. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's just it's weird, man. Like you have all these choices, and maybe it's one of those things where like, if you have too much choice, then it's just, you get kind of a paralysis about it. And it's just like, you kind of get overwhelmed with everything. And like, right. Like you have to pay for everything. And like, and also maybe some people get
a game like that becomes a grind when it shouldn't be. Like the old SmackDown versus Raws, there would be unlockables, but you'd be able to unlock them all pretty easily. Or like Day of Reckoning, you'd earn points and then you could cash in the points. And it's like, oh, you've unlocked Stone Cold Steve Austin. You've unlocked the ECW arena, this, that, and the other thing. Now it's like, all right, I paid the money. Okay, now I got to get to level 40 here. So I have to do basically 90 matches. And
that's insane, man. That's like a second job at that point. I'm not doing that shit. I just want to play.
And I just watched a fucking video on this too, and just really the culture of gaming that's kind of run downstream with culture in general, where like things are just kind of a grind. You're just kind of expected to work and to dedicate nonstop hours, like consecutively, in order to remain competitive. And the fact that you even have to remain competitive in a lot of circles, right? Like, because there's so much that's tied to online. And there's games where it's like you can't play online with like a broader group of people, because like if you want to take a break from the game, let's say for 6 months or whatever, because life happens, right? You're not the same tier as it's not a game you can just drop off and then pick back up later on and expect to still have fun with it. Like you're already downloading patches, you're downloading new. You have to get like, I'm thinking of like Elder Scrolls Online, right? Like you have to download, this new map in fucking Solstheim. You have to download this thing for the Somerset Isles and Valenwood and like all this other shit before you can actually get to a point where you can actually get going and play the game again. And even then, you're at a level so low, and everybody already is at like, say if you're at level 40, oh, too bad, sucker. The cap went to like 100 months ago, and now it's like you're playing against all these people who have just grinded the shit. And like that's where I feel like too, where like if I want to play with people online, that was a dream back in the day with like the golden age of our games. But like now it's just like there's so much to it now within the online sphere that just kind of makes it overly complicated to a point where like it's not fun. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong if it's different with WWE games, but like it just seems like that's the culture of gaming nowadays. And it just, my God, like I don't know how you do it. I don't know how anyone does it, but like, and then if you want a single player experience, like good fucking luck in some of these cases. Luckily WWE's like talk about with like, the Bloodline showcase and shit like that.
It's not something you really go back and replay. As soon as I'm done with the showcase mode, I don't really do it again. If I beat the My Rise mode, I don't want to create a new character and do it again. Like I like trophy hunting in some games, but in those games it's a slog because a lot of the trophies are based on the My faction or the island. It's like okay, I don't want to sit here and grind packs and grind matches that I know I'm going to lose, because in the match it's like, oh, the cards are based in like gemstones, and like this guy's a sapphire, which is like a 70 overall. You got to beat a Galaxy Opal, which is a 99. It's like, I can't win it. Like, I can try and win this, but it's impossible. Or like, it doesn't feel possible. It's just not fun. Like, currently, I'm replaying Kingdom Hearts 2, and I plan on replaying Kingdom Hearts 1 soon. You know why? Because those games are already complete. I can play them, enjoy them, continue to enjoy them, and play them as much as I like, because they're some of my favorite games. WWE games, you can go back to SmackDown vs. Raw 07, you can go back to Day of Reckoning 2, like, and you'd still have fun today. But like, when fun becomes a grind, it's not fun anymore.
Totally agree. You're paying for the grind. You're paying $100 for that. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, 100 plus, right? Like,
I know. You're trying to get away from the grind if you're paying that much money for anything. Really, why would you want to? It just doesn't sound fun. Like, I don't know. It's too much.
Most of the stuff in the passes aren't really that cool. It's like, oh, you get an island cosmetic for fight shorts. It's like, okay, like, I made my island guy. His name is Joey Samoa, and he's tan and has dreadlocks, and he uses a spear. That's my character. Like,
solid.
What more do you want from me? Like, I'll go in soon and get the characters that I bought, because I want those characters. But like, I don't want to grind 6 hours to get Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, and Lita 2000 because they're the end of the battle pass. Like, that just give them all to me right away. That's all I want.
Nope.
Yeah, I agree.
Not what you get, though.
I think less is more, to be honest with you. Like, some of the games that I may have only played for a few months, I still remember now, or would rather go back and play again. A game like, we didn't even talk about this because it wasn't a part of the official canon of WWE games, but games like I think it was Legends of WrestleMania, but more specifically for me, WWE All-Stars. I really liked that game. I mean, just the simple concept. If you talk about dream matches, if you do John Morrison versus Randy Savage, CM Punk versus Stone Cold, among other stuff, Sheamus and Ultimate Warrior, and it was fun shit. And you can unlock various characters and outfits and stuff like that. Again, very simple, not much to it, but it was so drastically different. I found it to be a nice alternative to what they were doing in the actual SVR timeline to that point. I just want to see more stuff like that. I know they tried doing that again with Battleground or whatever a few years later.
But they didn't do it right. They didn't do it right. Like, All Stars is interesting because it's so cartoony. You hit somebody with a 619, they go flying 30 feet in the air, and then Ray meets.
It's like NBA Jam.
Pile drives, and it's like
NFL Blitz.
And like, you can go back to the 90s. Like, there's the WrestleMania arcade game where it's like actually arcade. You punch with the Undertaker and like skulls fly out of his fist. And then like you kick with Shawn Michaels and there's hearts on the end of his kick. Like, let's get back to something fun like that. Make something fun. That's all I care about.
Yeah. No, just bring back the fun. I think that's really the bottom line here.
Agreed.
Do we have any games that we wanted to put on the worst before we get into Saturday night's main event besides 2K20? Because that's bottom of the barrel. Yeah,
you mentioned it. I mean, that's really the baseline. I am a casual gamer at best, but I gotten all the games. I think I own all of. I don't know all of them, but I mean, I didn't get the most recent one. But I have all the 2K ones, and sometimes I'd play them for a little bit. Sometimes I would never get for them. I'd never get to them. Usually I would just get them for Christmas or something. I got that one, played it twice. No joke. Like, you hear the horror stories. You guys probably know if you played it, especially you, Piers, but literally it crashed within the first 5 minutes. And I have no issues with my console at all. I think it was on Xbox. I'm like, the fuck is this? And I tried it again. It crashed again mid-match. I'm like, I'm never playing this again. Like, this is just so, like, that's crazy.
It has some of the most hilarious like glitches I've seen. Like, I think the showcase for that one, I think, is Becky Lynch. And like, there's the her versus Charlotte match. And like, you guys have probably seen the video. She gets put in the figure 8, and then the referee glitches out into like a seal motion. He's just like basically humping Becky's face while she's on the ground. His arms are going like this, and like, or like their face will get sunk in, and then her eyes are just out like this, like it's a cartoon. It's like, how do you fuck up this bad? And
I mean, it really is monumental because they fucked up so bad with that game. And the reception of that game was so bad. They literally took like 2.5 years off. Like, that is crazy.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, COVID. Like, no, they would have put it out through COVID if they needed to, or if they wanted to. They literally, for the first time in 20 years, were like, we're not putting out a game this year. That's how bad that was.
They had to fix it. They had to fix everything wrong. There was no.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember watching New Legacy Inc. I don't know if you fellas follow New Legacy Inc. at all.
Them, yeah.
Oh my God, they were playing because they play these games to find and to like exploit the glitches and shit. And they had so much content on 2K20. It was great. They had I think Batista was a legend in that game or something, and they had Justin Roberts as an announcer. And then it was just like, Batista! It just paused and it just glitched out on the high I when he said that. And I remember I think I might have been a little stonesy wonesy at the time, and I might have just almost pissed myself laughing. There was so much content surrounding 2K20, and it was, the fact that they had to actually take time off and be like, okay, like, this is in a tailspin, we need to fix this now or we're fucked. Like, we're never going to get any goodwill from fans of this series ever again.
I do want to throw out the bad things that they added. I've never liked universe mode. I think universe mode is just a worse version of my GM.
Yeah, they have both of them. I've never really cared for universe mode. I tried it, especially when they didn't have my GM, because I'm like, oh, this is the closest thing to it. It's not. They like not simulate matches. They like kind of AI generate certain stuff, and it's the same matches every week. It's just not.
And nothing makes sense.
No, and you can't really add certain things. Like, I don't know. You can't have segment. I don't know. I tried it and I don't like it. It's for a GM mode fan myself. I guess it's supposed to be different, but never been really a fan. Too much effort there as well.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. But I think that pretty much puts us at a good stopping point for video games. Unless there are any hidden gems you guys want to throw out real quick.
No, I think we got to all of them. I think quite the deep dive of games, but I think we got to pretty much all of them.
Shout out WWE
the Legends.
Crush Hour.
I was going to say the Legends of Wrestling series was also great. Very understated back in the early 2000s, where they got like it was like before Legends of WrestleMania, where they got like everybody, including dudes from like the territory days, like the Von Erichs and the Baron Von Raschke's throwing him in. I don't know how they got that past, the copyright gods, but like, they had Rob Van Dam was in the first one, which was very weird because they didn't have any ECW guys in that game. Well, they had Van Dam and Sabu, and then they had like your King Kong Bundys. They had Jimmy Snuka. They had Rick Martel, Hulk Hogan. Like, it was, and you could go around the fucking territories, and you just like, they had nothing to do with WWE. Somehow WWE was not involved in like any of the branding or anything like that, but they had all these old guys who were affiliated with WWE at the time, amongst various other promotions. And it was different. Like, it was one of those kind of like with the Warzone and like Attitude and like ECW Hardcore Revolution, when kind of like arcade, where once you got like the moveset down, then it's like fucking great. But yeah, it's kind of a slog if you don't know what you're doing and you're just like a button masher type.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But unique entries, and I really fucking like them. So I just wanted to say that.
That sounds interesting. I wonder if maybe those games are the reason that so many of these contracts that they do now, they like have to sign over their likeness.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It was a different era, though. Like, there was a lot. I don't want to say it was Wild West or anything like that, but you definitely didn't have like corporate interests jumping in there, being so hard on everything, being like, "Oh, no fun for you," So
yeah. What are you gonna do? But Saturday night's main event. I did not get to watch this as I was at Donnie's wedding. I'll let you guys discuss it. I'll talk about the stuff that I saw in clips, but I'll let you guys discuss. Trick Williams defeated Laredo Kid in a pre-show match. They're doing pre-show matches again. That's interesting.
Yeah, I did not know that until after it was over.
But I mean, I thought it was pretty great. I mean, it's kind of did what you expected it to do, right? Like, I was talking about it with the boys over in the Main Event Network there up in our mixer. It's just one of those matches where like Laredo Kid is somebody you can trust to have a great match and I feel like they've been doing this a lot. There's been like this notable partnership between SmackDown and AAA. They've been getting a lot of guys like El Hijo del Vikingo. They've been featuring Rey Fenix in the Cruiserweight Championship for AAA, which is great. Like week after week, they've had the War Raiders on there like last week in a tag match featuring the AAA titles. And then now you got Laredo Kid, who, like I was saying with the boys, I think he was prior to Máscara con Máscara, you know what I mean? Máscara contra Máscara. Prior to that match being 5-star, the last 5-star match that AAA had was a tag team match featuring Laredo Kid. And and that was like 2021, I want. I'd have to look back at it. I just know that Laredo Kid was involved.
They've had Vikingo for how long?
They also had the El Patron too, so it kind of balances out.
That's fair.
But so I want to say it was actually with Psycho Circus. I'd have to double check it again, but I know for a fact that Laredo Kid was in that tag match. And from what I've seen of Laredo Kid, both in his work in TNA and now in WWE's AAA, like he's a very, very solid wrestler. Like he's capable of having a great match with just about anybody. And I think Trick is one of those guys who benefits from, like, look at his time in TNA, right? Like I think you give him some surprises, you give him some variety to keep him on his toes. I mean, he's definitely a guy they're trying to build into a megastar, potentially face of the company in the future, the very near future. So
megastar status at this point already.
I mean, Yachty's done fucking wonders for him. Like he was already on his way, but Yachty just put some nods in him. And I don't know how they made that work. Yachty was just a big fucking fan, and they just gear him up where it's like, part of me wonders if they're going to put Yachty with someone else down the line, but like, it's one of those partnerships, man. It's like Heenan and Andre the Giant. Like, how do you, it's hard to envision them with anybody else, or like Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Like, it's one of those, and maybe they get one like Heyman did with Reigns or Heyman with Punk even, but like Yachty and Trick is just such a natural combination, and I think they're both going to ride to the top together. And I think this match was a great showing for both. I don't see Trick holding the U.S. title long. I think he's gonna drop it by end of summer, and by that time, I think they're gonna seriously look at putting him in the WWE title contention. But
yeah. I wouldn't be. I would prefer it to be LA Knight, but I wouldn't be shocked if he wins Money in the Bank. I think he's like tailor made for the briefcase.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't even be entirely mad if it was Trick. Like Knight's been my guy for 4 years running.
Should be LA Knight. I'm gonna fucking sing that forever. But like, he should have won it 2 years ago, and last year, and 3 years ago.
Right.
Right. But like, here we are now. Fatal Influence. Laney Reed and Fallon Henley defeated Paige and Brie Bella. This was the correct choice. Paige and Brie Bella, while a fun nostalgia pairing, and even though it really isn't that much of a nostalgia pairing for that matter, it's just two older wrestlers. Even though Paige is still very, very young for that matter, like it's time for Paige to go out on her own and start. I think she'd be fun in the mid-card scene. I don't think she's world title contention at this point, but like, let's get Paige in the mid-card scene. Let's get Brie back with Nikki. And then you do Fatal Influence versus the Bellas at SummerSlam. And Fatal Influence should have this was the time to put titles on them. And also JC Jane should be in that ladder match for the women's world title. Just want to throw that out there because she's the fucking best, like one of the best call-ups, but they just don't get it seems like.
Yeah, she started out hot enough, and then they kind of fizzled it out for some reason. I have no idea why. She still could end up in it. I mean, she lost her qualifier last week. We'll see, but at least they got this right with Fatal Influence. The match was fine. It was exactly what it should have been. Correct outcome, decent match. I would also like to see Paige go out on her own, see what she could do in like the women's IC title picture, for example. Perfectly fine opener. I mean, that the finish looked stupid because JC Jane flipped Laney Reed on top of Paige while Paige was pinning Laney Reed, and Jessica Carr clearly saw JC Jane flip over the Laney Reed on top of Paige. So maybe there is something to Becky.
Becky Lynch has been correct the entire time.
She's been correct. Yeah, maybe
Crooked
so.
Car. Crooked car, man.
But yeah, match was okay. Match was okay.
But I want to go back to that qualifying. Tiffany Stratton's the fucking U.S. champion. I understand Minnesota, it's her home state, hometown. Why not just have her defend the fucking belt? Like,
you'd think.
Well, then you'd have to sacrifice Dominic Mysterio and Danhausen. Or you'd have to sacrifice...
First off, don't you disparage that match. I understand why some people do not like it. But Danhausen is one of the best signings WWE has had in years. Like, genuinely.
Nobody's arguing opposite.
And
he doesn't. I agree. I think with the McDonough thing, I enjoyed the McDonough match. As dumb as it was, it was fun. But I think that's fine for a Saturday night's main event. I just would not. I'm dying on this hill. I would not do that shit at SummerSlam. I just wouldn't. I would rather utilize that spot for a match that makes more sense. Danhausen is great. Danhausen doesn't need to be wrestling on 3 PLEs since Backlash. I think that's ridiculous. And he's also.
I think he's going to lose to Dom, though. I think this will be his first loss.
Yeah, but what does that do for Dom? Dom is the guy that fucking beat John Cena for the IC title less than a year ago. Like, what is he doing? Like, this is. I think the feud's been cute. It's been a cute feud. But now we're just wasting time. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand that at all.
Point, I agree, but to a point, I disagree. So, like, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I think, the title, like, it's a story that's been building to this match. Like, the story's built to get to this match. Does it need to be on SummerSlam? Probably not. But, like, they're going to do it. I'm going to wear my Danhausen shirt. I'm going to go like this. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, but to your point, too, like, when you have to choose, like, they only just recently, and in Saudi Arabia, no less, put the women's U.S. title in a PLE match. And they've had this belt for how long? And Tiffany Stratton is trying, and she's asking to try new things to make herself relevant, and by extension, the women's U.S. title. Now, like we're saying, Danhausen, does he need a SummerSlam match? Maybe not on the main card. Now, if we're doing countdown shows, Danhausen versus Dominic Mysterio would be fucking perfect for that. Have wave people into the fucking house.
Have Danhausen come in and do what he did at Mania.
Yes, that's fine. I'm fine with that, man. I love Danhausen. The guy's great. The guy's really entertaining.
Yes.
I don't think he needs a 10 or 15-minute match on a fucking SummerSlam, even if it's 2 nights. I just think that's ridiculous. I also don't think we need this match. I think him beating McDonough, perfect. Great ending. Got Carl Anthony Towns out there. Loved it. It's just fun. Like, I don't know. I like that match. I mean, we're talking about the show. I like the match. I think that should have been it. And then they continued it on Raw. And then Dom was losing to fucking Joe Hendry. And I love Joe Hendry too. But Dominic Mysterio was the same guy, like I just said, that beat John Cena for the Intercontinental title. And the follow-up has been zilch. Nada. There's been nothing.
Look at Gunther then, too. But
Gunther has been better.
So before we get into the main event, Lyra defeats Bayley by technical submission. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reports about Bayley right now. I do think she is gone. I don't think she's leaving. Her contract ends at the end of the year or whatever. I think she is gone. I think she's done everything she needs to do in WWE because they're kind of just coasting with her since she won the WWE title at Mania 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think her going, I think she goes to AEW, and I think Lyra's character can be very, very fun. They just have to actually push her. And like I like the Bulldog choke as a finish. I think that's a great finish.
Yeah.
It's a good one for her.
Yeah. No, sorry, go ahead, Brandon.
No, well, I was going to say, like, she did cut a little bit of a promo during the commercial break where she's saying she booted Bayley out of here, and now she's going to go for the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Sol Ruca, which, fine. I mean, I'm sure that'll be a great match, and I'm sure, like, Sol could benefit from wrestling against someone who also, like, has some recent NXT. They kind of came from that same NXT cohort, I believe. Yeah. So some familiarity and, a partner can do both of them some good. Like, it gives Lyra a good base to kind of continue this heel push that she's putting forth. And it also can generate some points for Sol as a face, and then also gives Sol a good partner to, like you're saying, kind of, they are familiar, they're same style or like same, kind of grouping, right? So there is some familiarity there. I think
Lyra should be in the world title scene at this point.
I do too. I think this is the bump in the road that we take before we get there, though. because it seems like they're pretty intent, and I don't care. Like, I'm so disheartened by the fact that Raquel Rodriguez is going to be in another women's intercontinental title match that she's going to lose next week on Raw. Like, they're not going to do Lyra versus Raquel. That simply is not going to happen. So the writing's on the wall for that.
For Raquel, maybe wait till Monday. I think one of the Judgment Day girls are going to win Money in the Bank for the women this year.
I mean, it really should be Roxanne. I mean, the Judgment Day should be a thing at this point, in my opinion. But we got to hurry up with Roxanne. They tell these Judgment Day stories at like an Odyssey level pace. Like, why not just have Roxanne turn on Liv in the next month? Why does it have to culminate next year? You know what I mean? Like, it just, that bothers me.
Well, yeah, we're still waiting on that. Well, I should speak for myself. I am still waiting on that Austin Theory face turn when they were building that during him and Waller's partnership, and then he got hurt because took too fucking long.
He's somehow the leader of the Vision.
Oh my! We could be here all day, but I know when we first spoke last December, I know we spent John Cena's last match preview show talking about how Brandon and I specifically talking about how Austin Theory should be a breakout babyface. And I guess you could say they've done something with him, but to me, it ain't working. I think it's kind of stupid.
It's not quite there.
I don't know why they won back the tag titles. I think that was stupid. I would have preferred them to lose and then Braun to spear him out of his fucking boots. And then,
and I think they're still building to that.
Continue to be a pairing because that's a very, very good pairing. Braun and Paul work so well together.
Yeah, what is going on there, man?
Now Maxine's the heater, which doesn't really make sense. I understand Braun got hurt and like that cooled him down, but I do think he should have beat Seth Rollins. I understand why he didn't because now
he was going to win the Rumble.
Oh, we know that now, yeah.
Could you imagine if he won the Rumble? Like, and that's the thing too. This is a lesser of evils. Like, could you imagine if he won the Rumble at presuming he still was coming out at number 2? Oh no, because he's supposed to come out at number 1, right? Was that not the thing that they accidentally spoiled?
No, he was supposed to come out at number 2.
Was 2.
Oh,
no,
okay.
He was supposed to come out at
Did they not change it?
They fucked it up on SmackDown and put that up on. Put that graphic up, and then they changed it to number 2.
So he was going to win it at number 1 and then fuck himself with a hernia and be out of WrestleMania. Could you fucking imagine the shitstorm that would incur him if that were to happen?
I'll play as devil's advocate here. The hernias are going to happen. He had the hernia. He hurt it doing something stupid. That's how hernias work. You could have a hernia you don't know about, and you turn like this, and that shit'll pop. Like that's just how that happens. And Braun's not the type of wrestler to win it from number 1, but he would have won from where Roman was. I would have been fine with it. But like, if he did come out at number 1 instead of number 2, and he was in the ring waiting for Oba, and then the attack happened, it would have been a lot more compelling and a lot better versus him getting attacked while on the entrance ramp. He turns his head and it's just stupid. Like if he was in the ring and then got attacked from behind, I think that would have made a lot more sense. And that would him being eliminated the way he was number 1, I don't think people would have been as mad about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think even with the hernia thing, to be fair, he was cleared before Mania. I think it was a couple weeks before Mania. He was reportedly cleared, but they didn't bring him back until Mania because at that point it's like, well, we're not going to book you against Rollins 2 weeks out for Mania. We're going to hold off on that. So to be fair, if he even got hurt, they may have still gone forward with him as the number 1 contender. May not have done a whole lot with him on TV, but they could still technically have given him the title shot at Mania and had him win the belt for Punk.
I think we talked about it last time you were here too. Like they just got to take swings. And like the big thing, I understand you want to put your titles on your main draws. And I'm never mad about that. I'm fine with Sammy won the title. He got his moment. Punk wins it right away. I just defended that at the Dusty Finish at the Main Event Network. Go subscribe and check that episode out. But like, I wish I understand we're really on the precipice of a new era. And I know they say that 400 times a year now, but like,
yeah,
you have Braun, you have Trick, you have Oba. Like these guys are right there and ready to go. I think there's a good chance Braun wins Money in the Bank too. Like,
he could. I mean, I don't know. He's such an afterthought right now. I've kind of given up hope for the time being. So I don't know.
I think this is just his down year.
I think it's just
he'll be fine.
he cooled off. He'll be fine. Like when you're that crazy athletic and cut a promo, and like also you're a Steiner, like you're fine. Let him cut a mad promo, and he'll be good.
They're waiting for him to turn 30, and then once he finally crosses that threshold, then we can start maybe reintroducing singles championships again. But I don't know.
Main event: CM Punk and Cody Rhodes defeat Gunther and Sami Zayn. So title match at SummerSlam is Punk and Rhodes. So this is Gunther's first pinfall loss in a non-title match on the main roster. It's not a clean loss, so he still can say he's never been pinned clean in a non-title match.
Okay.
Don't really care about the match. I care about what happened at the end. We're getting the fucking national treasure back. We're getting goddamn Nick Aldis in a match.
This is the best part of the show.
Yeah, I'd be very curious to see how they let him go, because this is going to be kind of like the litmus. This is going to be, well, buddy, depending on how your match goes, and thankfully he's got Gunther as a partner in this, so we're going to get some sick-ass Euro greps, and I hope they let it go about 20 minutes. But it's going to be determinant of like, okay, so depending on how the people react to you, since you've had this much time to cook as a GM, we are going to either let you go full-time as a pro wrestler, as you've always dreamed to do in the WWE, or if you're not so hot, like maybe we got to kind of consider putting you back in the seat, you know? And that's going to be the hard part, because on one hand, it furthers Gunther and it's one career he can say he killed, right? In a sort of a asterisk sort of way.
All this is only 39. Like
all this in the scheme of things is still relatively young. And he's also got a good, I mean, I feel like this era has been ever since Cody became like WWE champion particularly, but it was kind of written on the wall beforehand. I feel like all of like Cody's boys have been getting some pretty slick deals as far as like where their spot on the card is or how much time they get. Like look at Royce Keys as a perfect example of that too, right? Look at Joe Hendricks gets plenty of feature, more than, you know, Jordan Grace, you know, a fellow TNA alum, which, I mean, Jordan's got her thing with being a pilot, and then there's the rumor that she's hurt or whatever too. But I feel like even if she were back, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a big correlation between a wrestler's relationship with Cody in this day and age and the amount of feature that they receive. If Aldis were to get even
a head ass take,
some positive,
I'll bite.
No, it's very evident. Like you have Ethan Page too, and Ethan Page now I will say is very talented.
Don't you?
But like look at everywhere he's been. Look at everywhere he's been prior to WWE versus when he got to WWE. All of a sudden, he's great and everybody loves him. Danhausen, or maybe it's just crazy luck. Like same thing with Danhausen too. The fact that, and I've said this on Saturday,
is a different thing because Danhausen, they didn't care to show him in AEW. I know they showed him in Kerry Silk in ROH, but they didn't care to show him in AEW. And also, Danhausen is a tailor-made WWE gimmick. Like.
Well, right, and that much is true, but the fact that he's getting so much out of this deal within not even a fucking year, and he's done so much. But again, like it's so unprecedented. And again, and I don't know how well. I mean, Lexus King still has a job, I guess we'll say that about him. But like, you just look at all the Cody boys, man, and Cody knows it. They did a tongue-in-cheek segment in NXT. When you had like Lexus and you had, I think Ricky Saints was in there too. Like it's all like fresh AEW, fresh off the boat from AEW. And like, you just know, right? And yeah. And like you pair all the AEW guys together, Paige and Rusev.
I think all it is that these guys were all featured on the first 3 months of Collision. And that was the best 3 months of wrestling television we ever saw. So like,
they're all Punk and Cody guys. There's no coincidence there.
There's no coincidence, but like I don't want to, you know, I don't like being that, you know, it's because of these guys.
No, it's not because of them. I'm just saying it's
politicking's always been a part of wrestling though, dude. Like this is no exception to what we've had in history, right?
Let's be honest. I don't know if Danhausen would be in the company if it wasn't for CM Punk. I mean, I'm glad he is in the company. He deserves to be. He's proven he's already belongs.
Absolutely. Yes,
he's one of their top draws.
No, he is. I'm saying I don't know
need to do anything.
A chance though to begin with, had it not been for Punk going to bat for him because he was right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he literally is tailor made for WWE. I do agree.
You're not wrong.
For him, there's a reason he debuted in Chicago. Like, But like, and people in Chicago, when that happened, like I was talking to Brandon, I was like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in my life. Like that debut, perfect. People in Chicago were fucking filthy casuals. I hate using that term, but like they were like that. They did not know ball. And then the next night, he has one segment with Dominic Mysterio and Adam Pearce, and they're like, "Oh, we get it now."
Yeah. I think the debut, I enjoyed it too. I think what didn't work about it, it was like what WWE thought Danhausen was. But then when you let Danhausen be Danhausen, that's just like, oh, okay, that's like entertaining. That's my point.
To be fair, like Danhausen is pure camp. Like,
no,
and
that
whole segment was campy as hell.
Yeah, that to me just felt like WWE Danhausen camp. That's what that felt like. I liked it.
They didn't pick up like what he was saying the entire time. Like when he gives Michael Cole the teeth, if they would have heard him go, "Up yours, Wade," like I'm sure that would have popped the crowd and that would have helped him. But it just
I think timing's everything too, because I also think he's a perfect fit for WWE now.
Yes.
I'm not saying he wouldn't. Here's the thing. He's always been a great gimmick for WWE. But you have to remember 5 years ago when Ring of Honor folded and he could have come in at that point, Vince McMahon was still fucking running the show, bro. He would have gotten fired in 3 months max. They would have absolutely put him in NXT 2.0, buried him, and fired him. So they would have
taken away his face paint. They would have taken away everything.
Yeah.
It would have been Donovan Danhausen.
He would have just been
Donovan. It would have been dumb as shit. He had to go to AEW first, even though they did nothing with him. At least he went there to kind of like, if he went to WWE, he would have been fucked. Actually, it actually helped his career to go to AEW, to get paid, to sit home for 3 years, and then come to WWE, and then become the biggest money-making machine they've had in a long time. So I think it worked out well.
I think he's number 3 in merch sales consistently every month, behind Cody and Punk.
Coincidence?
Danhausen stuff at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be.
I wish we were doing a world like I would fucking get the face paint. Like I would, no shame, get that. I would have the face paint with my red.
They should just have that. You get in there with the kids, like, get the fuck out of the way. I'm getting my Danhausen face.
They do that. They did have a Danhausen face paint thing at World this year.
No, if there was a World at SummerSlam, though. I know they're doing the takeover.
I'm just saying, if they do it, maybe they could. They might. I don't think so, but because they don't call it World at SummerSlam, but maybe we'll see.
Yeah, but so I mean, the match for the final match, we're saying it was fine, but it was really like Nick Aldis is going to wrestle, and that fucking rules.
Yeah, great tag match. I like the post match. Yeah, with all this.
And we still got to figure what we're doing with Sammy. Do we know what we're doing with Sammy?
I don't think he's on SummerSlam. I'm going to be honest. I think they're going to
hold
off.
That's crazy.
I think that's by design. Oh, and I think that's okay. Because I think I think at some point in the next couple months, CM Punk's turning heel, and your WWE Championship match is Sammy versus Punk at Mania. I think that makes the most sense.
I'd be fine with that.
Can they take away Cult of Personality and make this an effective?
Why do you dislike that song?
Because I know in the context of heel Punk. Listen to what I'm saying. You're jumping to conclusions here, sir. What I'm saying is, if you want CM Punk to be an effective heel, you take Cult of Personality away. It's like with Nakamura when he turned heel, right? It's like with any of these, like with Finn Balor, Nakamura even like
heel. They gave him a bad. Well, the theme was fine, but like
it was fine.
It didn't work.
But the point of it is like
as a heel we've seen with Cult of Personality works.
If you have to create a change in character. Well, here, let's look at this, right? Let's look back to Kurt Angle in 06. You took away "You Suck," you put just like a straight through, but it's still a Kurt Angle theme, but it's a new era of Kurt. It's a new Kurt Angle. Like, this is what I'm saying.
They realized 2006 Kurt Angle is the greatest wrestler that has ever existed in the history of professional wrestling.
Well, if they still have people chanting "You Suck" in that brand of Kurt Angle, that's still the fans saying that they love him in some way. Like, that's the music is very much like a representation of the brand of the character. So like, if Punk is coming out and he's been traveling the world, coming out to Cult of Personality, and he's had all this fanfare and fan base behind him the whole time, if you really want to put him over as a heel, same was true with Stone Cold Steve Austin, same was true with The Rock, you got to try and switch something up about it besides just the maybe whatever aesthetic they can change up with Punk at this point. Just grow out his chest hair again, I guess.
When like your character, when his character is basically like truly a cult of personality, and he can switch that personality whenever he likes.
Everybody sings the song though. That's what my point is. It's like, and that's again them showing that they
dislike people singing themes. You dislike it with Punk. You dislike it with Jay.
Just get off that for a second. I'm saying that. I'm seriously saying that. Like, if they keep a theme that everybody loves to sing along, and they're like, "Oh, cult of personality, I love CM Punk," like that's not going to make for an effective heel turn. I don't think. Granted, he's had it as a heel. He's had it as a heel decades ago in ROH when he signed the fucking contract on the belt, right?
He had it as a heel in WWE, though. And
when did he have it as a heel in WWE? What year was that?
2012, 2015, yeah.
Was he? Oh, yeah, he was a heel. Yeah, but I keep blurring that part of his career up because it was right before he left. Right.
Yeah.
But, okay, fair. I don't know. I just think by this point, I think it's different at this point. I don't know, man.
Fire Burns back. I would give him the Kill Switch Engage song back, to your point. So go back, but not use Colt for right now. That's what I would say.
I don't know. I just love that song anyway. It's like
I do too.
That's the point. It's like you associate it.
But I don't. Even if I hear it because of CM Punk, I don't associate it with CM Punk. I associate it with Guitar Hero 3. Like,
I mean, fair, but I mean that's what I did too until I heard that he had it. I was like, wait a minute, where did I hear this before? And then I learned that he had it for he had it in Ring of Honor, and then he brought it back in 2011. And then he just, he ran with it for pretty much the rest of his life to this point. UFC, AEW.
It is a song. Yeah. I'll give you this. It is a song that's linked to CM Punk because
very much so.
He used it in the Indies. He's used it in WWE, used it in AEW. So, like, I don't know. I think they would keep it. Graham, dude, it's always such a blast to have you here. I apologize for my technical issues at the beginning of the episode.
No issue at all. No, this has been a blast talking video games, Saturday Night Main Event. And like we talked about earlier, I hope we can, reconvene at SummerSlam, meet up in person for the first time in Minneapolis. We'll have to chat about that.
Yeah, well, after we end the recording, we'll have a little powwow before.
Sounds good. I appreciate you guys having me on. It was great.
Yeah, likewise, man. Thank you.
Cannot thank you enough. Brandon, you got anything else before I send us home for the night?
Well, fellas, as you all well know, SummerSlam will be next week, Saturday and Sunday. So we have our preview show coming up just prior to that. We're going to be talking a little bit what we're going to be planning to be doing out in the old mini there. You can catch me on Saturday on El Sábado Gigante Mixer. I'm going to be talking with Great Brown Hope of the Main Event Network, Dark Star Shady, and Tino. So we're all going to be on Saturday morning around, I want to say it's 11 a.m. And then Pierce, you got yourself, let me get my directions here. Pierce, there he is. You got yourself a little mixer coming up this weekend as well, no?
I do. Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. I will be on the AEW Redemption Mixer. We will be talking with Tanner, the Kicking Out Pod, Boris, and I'm trying to think. It might just be those two. I think there might be one other person, but I'll have to double check. But we will be on Talking Redemption, talking some good graps from the elite folks. But as for today, from me, Brandon, everybody at the Main Event Network, and of course, Mr. Graham underneath us, and Donnie, once again, congratulations to you and Marta. Thank you for having me once again. Have a beer on us, and we will see you next time. Have a great night.